Meeting for October. I'd like to welcome any guests that are here this evening. Are there any guests? Would you introduce yourself?
Gian McDougald.
Hi, Gian. Welcome.
How are you?
Well, we're all fine. I'm glad that recall is over. Are there any other guests? Yeah. So nice to have you. Right. Lynette usually does the land acknowledgement. If there's someone who is accustomed to giving the land acknowledgement, I will please raise your hand and you could do that. Otherwise, I will do my best. Okay. The Solano County Democratic Central Committee recognizes the Patwin tribe of the Wintun people. We acknowledge the privilege of the use of their homeland. Now we'll move to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic
which stands
one
one
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Well, someday.
And Madam Secretary, do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So next is approval of the agenda and the
Madam
minutes.
Chair,
Yes.
do you want me to launch the poll for people to sign in?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, please. Put that on my-
Here we go. Has everyone had a chance to sign in?
I've signed in via chat since I'm one of the co-hosts. So
Oh,
I put
sorry.
in the chat. No problem.
I'm gonna cancel that. And then that way, because that way you can vote regularly. So if you would sign in.
So
It
did
looks
you
like we
get
have
the-
31
You
signed
got to
in.
be for Anna. I can't see it. Yeah, you did. Okay.
And we got 31 people on the call.
Okay, good. So moving on to the agenda. Did everyone have a chance to look at the October 27th agenda? Is there a motion to adopt it?
So
Motion.
Oh, good.
So was that a move and a second? It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda.
It was hard to tell who seconded, who seconded on that. Jana? Okay, thanks, Jana.
And the minutes for September the 22nd. Everyone get a chance to look at that. And thank you, Paula Bauer, for taking the minutes.
Madam Chair, we only had 27 of 29 have voted.
Oh, on the
Agenda.
agenda? Okay, sorry.
Did you count mine in the?
There we go.
Okay, now we move on to the minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. This is Tiffany.
Is there a second?
Second, Kevin.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the minutes.
On your poll, Bilbo, we just approved the August minutes instead of the September minutes. So just, we'll make a note. Everyone understands that they were voting on September.
Let me relaunch that. Sorry. And here I called myself getting everything done in advance. Little things. Let me just edit that real quick and relaunch it. Just so that it's, because that will get rid of that whole. Sorry about that, folks.
Thank you, Jeanette, for reading it carefully.
And I second the thanks for Paula for taking those minutes because I was not able to be here, so I appreciate it.
And I want to thank Tiffany Jones for chairing the meeting last month because I wasn't able to be there either. Thank you, Tiffany.
Is that right, Madam Secretary?
Yes, it looked good.
Okay, so moving on to public comment. This is for guests at our meeting. And the comments are limited to 2 minutes. Do we have any guests who would like to make a public comment?
Yes,
John?
yes. So last Wednesday, there was a meeting in Vacaville by just a very, very right-wing organization of Avoid the Noise. And it was a forum on the mandated COVID-19 vaccine. And we need to be very, very, very vigilant because these are the same people who have been showing up at the school board meetings. And these are the same people who are behind a lot of the recall efforts around the country. And specifically right now, one is going on in San Francisco. And these are some of the same people who show up at the county board meetings and so forth whenever there's a question about the mask mandate or the vaccination. I'll just hurry up. I'll just hurry up and say what I have to say. That at the very least that people need to be vigilant and to call in or at least show up at some of these meetings and counteract that. Thank you.
Thank you, Gian. And do we have, we're having announcements by members. So we've moved the announcements by members up to closer to the beginning of the meeting, closer to the public comment. So the members had expressed an interest in that. So if you would like to make a comment, an announcement, you could raise your hand.
I see Manvir's hand is up. And then Igor.
Okay. All right, Manvir.
Hey, thank you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
We can
Okay,
see
perfect.
you.
I just wanted to give a quick announcement. Tomorrow, Young Professionals of Vacaville is hosting a Halloween party, and the proceeds are going to be going to CASA, Court Appointed Special Advocate. The event is happening at Journeys downtown in Vacaville. So if you're interested in attending, just reach out to me and I'll give you more information. But I just wanted to give that brief shout out to everybody so you guys are aware. And if you're interested, let me know. Otherwise, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Did you want to tell us what time that was?
It'll be in the evening around 6, 7 p.m. That's when it'll start. And for more details, just reach out to me and I'll send you the flyer and stuff.
Okay, thank you. Igor?
Hi, everyone. Good to be here. Thank you so much for all the important work that you're doing. And those of you who braved through 4 hours of a special meeting on Sunday and are now here again, thank you. My heart goes out to you. I am here to speak in support of a resolution in support of enhanced access to rooftop solar and net metering. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave after this. I'm juggling a few other Zooms. So I dropped the resolution in the chat, and this has already gone to the California Democratic Party. It passed a very similar version of this resolution as a reaffirmation back in August of this year. It's also been signed on by 19 caucus chairs, dozens upon dozens of CDP delegates and DNC delegates, as well as a number of central committees and chartered Democratic organizations. Utilities like PG&E, when they're not busy starting new fires, they're busy trying to double the cost of your and your neighbor's solar. And if you purchase fresh fruits and vegetables from a farm, which probably all of us do, their proposal raises the cost of solar for farms by over $1,000 a month. It also does the same thing for small businesses. It does the same thing for your children's schools. And it also does that with no regard at all for someone's financial status. Are they well off, or are they on a low income or fixed income program? So basically, this resolution, it's really important that as many Democratic chartered orgs as possible pass it. We're going to be doing a filing with all the different Democratic organizations and delegates that have signed on to this in the next week to the governor and the CPUC. Only the governor really has the power to tell his CPUC appointees, like, PG&E and investor-owned utilities are out of control and you need to rein this behavior in. And the best way to do that is to vote to keep solar and battery storage more affordable and accessible, not less. So that's the intent of this resolution. Happy to answer any questions if there's time now, or Bridget has my cell phone. So if I need to hop on later, I will definitely do my best to. And thank you so much.
Did that in under 2 minutes, almost.
I don't see any more hands.
Okay. So moving on to reports.
So I would just say, Margie, that you should say we close public comments
Right.
at this time, so I'll note it in the minutes.
Okay, we've closed public comment at this time. And I'm going to ask again if there's any member that wants to make an announcement. Like something that you're doing with your club or. Okay. Pat,
I don't know if it's the time to do this, but I have a report from Monica Brown. Is that now or do we wait?
oh, you could do that under ex officio reports.
Okay, no problem. Thanks.
Okay. So, well, first the executive board, and I just want to make a little report. Thanks to everybody who worked so hard to stop the recall. And I recently went to a chairs meeting. I just thought I would let you know some of the things I found out that they did in other counties. I know some people in our county said, why does it say stop the Republican recall? And in the rural counties where that was really a problem, they made their own literature. They just ignored that part. So I just thought I'd let everyone know. I think it actually worked out in our area, but some of the places where there's more Republicans, it's better not to have that on their literature. And we're hoping to go on and build on this success. I'm really pleased with everybody working so hard, everybody in the whole state, everybody in every county. And we're going to have to do that again next year. So this has just been a practice for that. I recently sent out, or I'm sending to Jeanette some dates because there seems to be a lot of things coming up with the Democratic Party. So I sent it recently to Jeanette, so she will send it on. And but I think you would like to know that the draft of the new districts is coming out on the 15th of November. And they'll be approved by the 27th of December and put in place January 23rd. I know people are very interested in the new districts. There's going to be a California Democratic e-board meeting November the 15th to 21st. And we have 2 representatives. We have Paula and Monica, but any of us can go and be observers. December the 4th is a Democratic town hall for the officers, the California Democratic Party officers. And that's on Zoom, but I find those really interesting. They all tell us what they're doing, Betty Yee and David Campos and so on. So you could be watching for that. The other thing I want everyone to remember that the pre-endorsement conference is going to be February the 12th and 13th. So save those dates and be ready to get on board with that. And that includes the clubs. You will all have representation on the pre-endorsement conference. In addition to the delegates, you get 1 per 20 club members. And the convention is going to be in LA, March 4th to 6th. So be ready for that. It's going to be back in person. It's at the JW Marriott. It's a Union hotel. So there's some other dates that I sent out. I won't read all of them. So, but I want you to be sure that you don't forget about the convention and so forth. All right. And do any of my board members have a report to make? We can do the raise hand function for that. So we'll start with our vice chair, Tiffany.
Yes.
Good evening. Yes, good evening, Democrats. Just wanted to kind of reiterate the e-board meeting that's going to be happening later on this month. The Black Caucus, CDP Black Caucus, is recommending a change to the Condemn Education platform. We all know that COVID-19 has, brought forth not only the inequities in education, but primarily looking at the achievement gap, and we're talking about African-American students. And so we wanted to work with the California Democratic Party in crafting some small additional changes to the educational platform to include Black students. We are continuously at the bottom when it comes to English language development, mathematics, as well as a host of disciplinary issues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so for those of us that are attending the e-board meeting, we're asking for you guys' support in just those minor, there are going to be some minor changes. And I do apologize for not submitting my report, but I'm so busy. But I could send you the suggested changes to that later on through Jeanette so that she can send it out to you guys. And so I just wanted to kind of bring that forth. And I see something, oh, not in the chat, sorry, it's not me. But just wanted to kind of bring that to the attention of our Central Committee, because Solano County is the most diverse, but yet our students here in this county continuously, especially our Black students, continuously are at the bottom when it comes to funding for not only mental health services, but educational services that should be monies that should be allotted to our students. And so I will go ahead and drop that information in the chat. You can actually look up the current CDP educational platform on the state party's website, but I'll send you a copy of the suggested language change that the CDP Black Caucus is going to be suggesting to that. So thank you guys again, and I look forward to seeing you all at eBoard.
Thank you, Tiffany. Are there any other officers that would like to make a report right now?
I'll hold mine until fundraising.
Okay. All right, so ex officio reports. This is for elected officials. If one of the representatives would like to make, or all of the representatives would like to make a report, please use the raise hand function so that we can see who has an oral report for this evening.
Sorry, my cursor's not moving fast enough. Pat Toke Smith
We
has
know
her hand
Pat
up.
does. Yeah.
Her hand up,
I
right.
guess it's now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I'm giving a report for Monica Brown. Basically, it's a real short report. So the Board of Supervisors district maps are out and online, which is great. And number 2, the board voted to seek an injunction against the property owners who have been using their Green Valley home as a short-term rental without the required county permit. So that's actually going on. And then also at the SOUP meeting, they passed an ordinance requiring new organic recycling mandates. And then they're still working on the American Rescue Plan. So that's it. And if you had any questions, I would recommend emailing Monica about it.
Okay, thank you, Pat.
Sure, no problem.
Are there any other reports from elected officials?
This is Deborah, and I'm reporting for Senator Dodd, and we have nothing new to report. He is working on a number of bills, which I tried to send that in last month. I'll send it in this month that he has going on. So that's all we have to report tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
More than enough to keep everyone working.
All right, anyone else? All right, club reports.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. Michelle Pellegrin's name, or her hand was raised, sorry.
Michelle?
Yeah, Margie, I have a question for Ms. Dixon, which is about the proposed going through California, and wondering if Senator Dodd is working on that. There are a lot of senators in this area. I'm wondering if he's working with them, Huffman and I forget the name, McGuire.
I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that, Michelle, but you could certainly contact his office, or I can contact his office for you and find that out.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give him a call. But thanks.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Before we move on, Madam Chair, I'd like to mention, I see there's a lot of conversation going on in the chat. If we can remember just to limit that to what we've asked for. Sounds like it's a lot, it looks like a lot of side conversations happening, so we don't want to flood the chat with that. So if we can just remember to adhere to the rules that we all agree to, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. Club reports. Could you use the raised hand function if you would like to make an oral report for your club this evening?
I see Bilbo and Carrie Birdside's hands are up.
Okay, yeah. Carrie?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Progressive Democrats of Benicia invited the San Francisco Bay Keepers to our meeting last month to talk about the notice of intent to sue that they filed a week before against the Amports in Benicia. Valero and Amports are spewing pet coke into the Carquinez Strait and into the air of Benicia. And the Baykeepers had drone footage over the months, over the past year of this happening. And pet coke is unloaded, is loaded onto tankers and sent to Asian countries as a fuel source. And it's really, really toxic. It's more toxic than coal, and it shouldn't be in our waterways. And so we just got into how dangerous it is, what Venetians can do, and what the next steps are for the litigation. And so that was last month. Next week we'll be meeting and talking to the Young Democrats of Solano County. Timothy Knox is going to join us on the Wednesday, the November 10th. And we'll also be talking about the net metering issue and other issues coming up. So that's the Progressive Dems of Benicia.
Okay,
Thank you. Tom, then Rhonda Smith.
I'm going to use this just because I've got one in my ear in here. But so anyway, just for the Stonewall Democratic Club, we did not have a meeting this month, but we are working behind the scenes with the name just, who is the guy up in Vacaville that's being recalled? Oh my God, it was just in my head. Nolan, yes. We were working with Nolan, and we have committed $1,000 to help him, as well as we're working on some ads and stuff to stop the recall in this case, because they're gathering signatures still, I believe. And so we're helping to pay for some ads and stuff to help him out. But if you want to donate, he is accepting donations, and this is something that we need to stop. I think Gian mentioned it, and this is going through our county. So if we don't stop them, it's going to continue.
Rhonda Smith.
Rhonda.
Good evening. The Community Democratic Club had their general meeting on October 19th, where the subject matter was Black in School. And so going along with what Tiffany's already announced, if you're interested in learning more or having some background information before attending the information that Tiffany was speaking of, the meeting was recorded and is on our Community Democratic Club Facebook page.
Okay.
I see no other hands, Madam Chair.
Okay, so moving on from our clubs to our committees. And we're going to use the raise hand function again for our committee chairs. So if you, or a committee member, if you see your chair isn't here, use the raise hand function so we know who would like to give us a report this evening.
Bridgette's hand is up as well as me and Vernil, so I think it's just gonna be us two.
Okay. All right, Bridgette.
Okay, I'm going to go briefly over a couple of committees here. So for headquarters committee, we are continuing with our texting and phone banking per the Democratic Party's advice for the elections in Pennsylvania and Virginia coming up on November 2nd. If anyone's interested, please contact us, and we have regular phoning and texting opportunities available for that. For the resolutions committee, we had our first meeting. We went over a brief overview of how resolutions are formatted, what is a resolution, and some resolutions that are coming before or have come before the state party. If anyone is interested, we're going to do a broader training, and we'll send out some information about that so everyone can learn how to format a resolution, how to submit a resolution, all the details about it. So thank you all for those who came. And if anyone would like to join, we have plenty of seats available on the resolutions committee. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, I just want to say that the headquarters committee, if you want to join the text or phone banks, there is a link on the Mobilize that you can sign up on Mobilize to join this group. You can also
I can send it out through Jeanette again too, so they can see that link.
They can see it, but I've noticed that it's on Mobilize. So
yeah, it's always on there.
And the resolutions, I'd like to say that actually it was an excellent presentation. So I recommend anyone going. If you have any questions about how resolutions are made or what they are, the training was excellent. So please keep your eyes open for the date that it's offered again. All right, thank you, Bridgette.
Thank you.
I see Jeannie White, and Jeannie, you want to speak? I saw another hand, but go ahead, Jeannie. Jeannie White.
Thank you. Good evening, fellow Central Committee members. The Club Coordination Committee met this past Monday evening. For those of you that do not know, we finished our task of adapting the handbook that was given to us from both the San Diego Democratic Central Committee and more recently through the Contra Costa Democratic Central Committee. So we have finished our task. We have sent it on to the Bylaws Committee for their perusal, and we hope to be able to use that handbook when we have other clubs that would like to join the Central Committee. As far as the continuation of our Club Coordination Committee, we have decided that we will be meeting on an as-needed basis or even quarterly, should there be a task or a project that is asked of us to do. And so we thank you for your consideration.
Hey, thank you, Jeannie.
This is Vernil Brumfield, and I'm talking for the popcorn fundraiser, the fundraising committee, and the popcorn fundraiser that we discussed last month, and seem to be enthused and on board with it. However, after we did research today, we only see that only 3 people have signed up for it. So we do understand how important it is for us to have money for these candidates in these upcoming campaigns in 22 and especially 24. So we need the money to be raised so we can support Democratic candidates. Now, there's a proposal to move the date because tomorrow we're supposed to start the fundraiser, to move the date out to December the 6th. So I will entertain discussion and comments on that, on this virtual fundraiser. Steve?
I would just rather cut a check to people I like. You know, I'm like, I have no problem supporting Democratic candidates, but I don't want to sell popcorn, but I'm more than willing to cut a check to people I like.
Okay. Any other comments?
Tom?
Yeah, I just wanted to say it was actually 4 people that are 4 entities that signed up, because United Dem signed up. I signed up as Santa Claus because he's a Democrat. We know that. And Jeanette and Norman Powers signed up. So thank all of you who signed up, Paula for United Dems. But the reason for the 6th is that Double Good has got a restriction on capacity, I guess. So that's why the 6th. So remember, Santa is a Democrat and he's watching.
James Hardwick's hand. I'm sorry, Jeanette, James, and then Paula.
Just wanted to thank Tom for doing the training. So he offered 3 different dates. And so I did the same one with Jerry, I think. And so he just helped us get the thing set up. And so then it was easy. So we didn't do anything next, because the next step is tomorrow would be the start of it for 4 days only. You know, you send it out to people that you know in your contacts, and then they buy the popcorn and they, you know, pay the money, and so it's all done online, and we don't have to knock doors or go to, you know, collect money. But it doesn't work if there's only, you know, 4 people out of 64 people doing it. So I don't know. Before I thought, you know, we all voted to do it. So if we go with the 6th, that's fine, but we just need to have everyone do it, or say everyone pay X amount of dollars and don't do the fundraiser, but just donate money to, you know, the committee, which but we just need more people. But the training was easy. It doesn't look like it's difficult.
James?
Yes, I agree with Steve. I would rather just donate money.
Okay. Paula?
You know, I'm good either way. If we start tomorrow, because I was able to get the United Dem store set up because I couldn't go to any of Tom's trainings. And I'm sure it took me longer than if I would have made it to Tom's trainings, but I'm good either way. If we go ahead tomorrow, if we go December 6th.
Jana, did you have your hand up? I saw it up in the little box. Okay, sorry. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I do think it's important that we do fundraisers. We need to have money for Solano Democrats. You know, like I was saying about Lake County had their own flyers. If we wanted to make flyers, we have to be able to pay for them. So it's important that it's not just giving to a candidate that you like, it's or even that we like. It's supporting all the Democrats and all the Democratic activities. The whole slate.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
Steve Quinlan is up.
I don't want to support all Democrats because some Democrats in the last election endorsed Republicans, you know, and those Democrats I'm not willing to fundraise for.
Well, we're talking about the Central Committee with the Democrats, you know, us as a whole, the body that you belong to. That we should have a headquarters and we should have flyers and, you know, be able to pass out literature. So it has everybody's name on it.
And Madam Chair, this kind of goes into, you know, a little bit of what we were talking about as far as new business. I don't want to jump the gun, but again, this fundraiser has been done by several local organizations and has pulled in thousands of dollars in 4 days. It is probably the easiest fundraiser that I have ever participated in. And I know that there's some apprehension about selling it based on former childhood traumas of, you know, getting the candies and all of that and not selling it and having to return the candy or pay for it. I completely understand it. Trust me, I do. And I'm not trying to, you know, take you back to elementary school with that. But if you would rather write a check, I mean, we're not going to turn any money down. No, we're never going to say that. But the idea was this would be a good quick opportunity, one, for us to work together as a central committee, even though it's, you know, via Zoom because we haven't met in over a year. But really just to kind of get this is seed money, this would be seed money so that we could do the things that we say that we're going to do. And that is supporting candidates, and I think that's the most important thing that we need to focus on. So I would like to start tomorrow, but if the committee wants to start on the 6th, that's fine with that's fine. But I do want to just reiterate, this is easy, get 10 or 5 people, buy a tub of popcorn, give it to me. I have students in the wellness center at my school. They're more than happy to eat the popcorn, just kind of figure it out and let's do it. So that's all I have to say.
So is there a motion or do we have a poll, Thomas?
Jenna, they said it will be here before Christmas if we do it now. So that's the goal. It's for holiday candy. Popcorn is holiday popcorn. So yeah.
So I did upload into the chat a PDF that has the link so you can install the app on your phone. And at that point, you then type in the code that's in that document to join the event, but you set up your store on the phone. And then you also will get a link as well. And you can let me show you. So really, you don't see it's a file, a PDF file. Does it? No?
I don't see it, Tom.
I got it. It's up there.
Yeah, the link is in the chat.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I had to scroll up. My bad. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, you might have to scroll up. But yeah, so
Some people still
you can. If you do that, you can sell popcorn with Santa. And I'm totally doing that just so I can beat Tiffany and how much I sell.
Oh, you want some competition? Okay.
Yeah.
Game on. Game
Come
on.
So, and
I'm
if
ready.
all of you don't have to, if you don't want to sign up for it, you can buy popcorn from Santa. Just saying.
Tom, some people are saying that they don't see it in the chat, so maybe we can just go ahead and drop it again.
Yeah, or Jeanette, if you could email it.
Yeah, later.
Tom,
Jenna,
you see the question? Oh, go ahead, Tiffany. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna read the question. So there's some questions coming through in the chat. So can we set up one store for all the share? You want to support Santa? Okay.
Sure, I'll give you my link and you can pass that on. You can be Santa's elf.
I'm just thinking for those that might not want to do the fundraising, but if they have the link, they can send it to Aunt Betsy or Uncle Louie or whoever's going to buy some popcorn for the holidays. That way they don't have to set up the store and it can be shared by others. So just a thought.
I think that works.
I'm not opposed to that either, just as long as, we get some money.
So Tom, if you want to send out the link for Santa to everybody, then that way, like I said, they can share it to their Aunt Betsy or buy it from you or whatever needs to be.
Yeah, and just to be clear, you're not buying it from me, you're buying it from Double Good and the money's going right to the Central Committee.
Right, but Santa looks like the head salesperson, so it's all good.
So far.
See, Tiffany, you should have set yours up.
Oh, I don't. It's okay. I got mine ready to go. But really quick, Susan George and then Don Lowry. I'm gonna still whoop you, so it's okay.
Thank you. I think I know the answer to this, but I just want to double check. Since United Dems has theirs already signed up, can we just use and buy from theirs as well? Is that totally fine? So we don't need to set up our own and it all goes to the same place, right?
Yes, us.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to support Santa, whatever, I've got coal for you.
We could do both. I am a member of United Dems too.
Anything we can do to Santa's good side.
So Susan, you and Matt could also set up a store for the Jewish Democrats.
Right. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of figuring that out. But otherwise, we want to support the effort.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tom?
Is that me?
Yes.
Yeah, I like the idea of just signing on to someone else's, because to be quite honest, it wouldn't let me set up a store. So, and after spending about 15 minutes on it and trying and getting error messages, I stopped. So if Tom wants to share his link, I'll gladly have him go to Santa, or if anyone else wants to share their link, maybe I'll just put them all out and let people decide amongst themselves.
So it's in the chat. What we can do is also anyone who signs up to create a store, I can give the links to Jeanette, and then you can pick and choose. But just remember, Santa's watching.
Sounds like some trickery. Go ahead, Jeanette.
So the whole thing with setting up your own stores and you send your contacts. So if you get another link from Santa or from someone else and then feel compelled or feel led, we'd like you to send it to other people too, so they can buy from it as well. If you really don't want to sell popcorn or buy popcorn and want to make a donation, you can send that, I guess, through Act Blue, or how would they do that if they choose to just support a fundraising effort without the popcorn involved?
Yep, Act Blue. I'll put the link out.
Yeah, the Act Blue link. Yeah, I was gonna say the Act Blue link is still up and ready, available for just regular types of donations. Okay. Unless we want to earmark it for popcorn. I don't know if we want to do that, and that requires a.
Yeah, I did set that up. But also, there is a member of our committee that does a monthly donation. Thank you, James Hardwick.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so then is there anything we need to vote on, or is this what, I mean, we said we would do the fundraiser for tomorrow. That was voted on. So is that what we're doing? The people who want to have a store set up and have it set up will launch tomorrow. And if you don't want to, you will purchase it either through one of the links that Tom has or someone else has that I can send out tomorrow if you don't get it out of the chat, or you can make a direct donation through Act Blue.
Yes,
that sounds good. So there's nothing to vote on. So everyone be watching.
Janice's hand is up. Janice's hand is up.
Sorry, just a quick question. So Tom, I just want to verify, we can share this link on Facebook and such, so we can send it out wherever?
Yes.
There's no restrictions or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay, copy that link and put it out there, people. Let's do this.
And it's only for 4 days, so.
So we're moving forward. Okay.
Okay.
Jeanette,
don't forget.
I'm sorry, Jeanette, your hand in the screen.
Right. So does this, I mean, do we have to report like a regular fundraiser, or like when people buy something on auction? If someone puts it out on Facebook, but someone buys it from Double Good, then we get the information of who's the purchaser. Is that correct? So we're all covered with that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
my
So
understanding.
Morgan looked into that and spoke with our financial advisors.
Okay, thanks.
They give us an Excel spreadsheet of all the sales, who, what, when, where, how, why. So we get all that. All right. Was anything else? Any further discussion? Sounds like we're good. Launch tomorrow. Tiffany's gonna beat Santa, so we'll see. Thank you, guys.
Okay, moving on to new business. Tiffany's on the screen, so we'll start with that. Tiffany, do you want to talk about a strategy meeting for electing Democrats?
Yeah, so again, good evening, everyone. So out of the last executive board meeting, and this has just been really weighing heavy on my mind and spirit, just considering the craziness with the recall and just seeing how treacherous this, the Republicans have been towards our Democratic candidates, not only here in the state of California, not only here in Solano County, but just nationwide. And just really looking at some of the strategies that I have seen that have really worked. I feel that this Central Committee, because we have a lot of high stake elections that are happening in 2022, 2023, and 2024 here in this county. And I think based on what we've all seen so far, especially what's going on with, fellow Democrat Nolan, we have a lot of work to do. And what I would suggest is that we come up with or have a strategy meeting around best practices that we've seen. I'm going to talk a little bit about Contra Costa. They did a really, really good job and have done a really good job when it comes to their coordinated campaign up and down Alameda County and got some really good Democratic candidates across the county. And the way that they were able to do that was so impressive to myself. And I think that we could absolutely do something like that, here in Solano County. And so what I would like to do is I would love to invite any Democrat, anybody on this Central Committee, any of the club members to a strategy meeting around how we can really build out a strategy on how we are going to get candidates elected, and really looking at, if there is a race that doesn't have a Democrat, who do we have right now that's ready to go, to put in that seat. And I think that's a bigger conversation to have, but we should at least be starting it and just really working together as a team to really do that. And so I did want to put out one date in January. The holidays are coming up, and I know that we are all tired because we all continuously work on behalf of Democrats all across the country. And so I did want to put out January 20th, 7 p.m. via Zoom as a tentative date for this meeting, just to kind of put it on your calendars as a TBA. And of course, as we get closer to the date, we'll definitely try to send out some reminders, but that's the date that I saw on my calendar that was close and looks like it might work coming out of the new year. And like I said, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, please, they're up in the chat. So I guess I don't know who was first. I don't know if it was Steve or Don, but one of you guys can come off a mic and go.
Would it be possible to have this meeting in real life? Because meetings like this work better in real life than in Zoom.
So I'm gonna be honest. If we're able to do it in real life, I wouldn't be opposed to doing that, especially for social distance. Maybe we could, I'll look into renting out the library, Cordelia Fairfield Library, since that seems to be the more central location, and it's relatively safe, for the most part. But if you want to do it in person, I don't mind. It's wintertime and I don't like coming out of my house in the rain, but I will if y'all want to. I'm flexible. Don?
Yeah, I completely agree with the notion. We, even though in the North we did pretty good last year, getting Democrats elected, flipping the Vacaville City Council, for example. There's always another election coming, and unfortunately with the other party seeming to forget their roots and embracing fascism, we need to be on our guard. I just want to say that to those who are thinking on this, waiting until January before you start thinking about this is too late. We have elections coming up in June. That it would be nice if we had Democrats running for county offices. And depending on what happens with our with the state redistricting, we may have unexpected opportunities there. So we need to be looking for candidates and doing that. So I'd encourage everyone to be pounding the pavement and trying to get good Democrats who are able to run for office because we've got a lot of work to do next year.
For the record, I wanted to meet next week, but I was like, I need to give everybody probably a break. So if the date's flexible, I just wanted to throw the 20th out there for an actual strategy meeting. But again, you know, if y'all want to meet sooner than that, hey, I'm game. Don, I think you're 100% correct. We need to start looking at these seats and start looking at candidates viable candidates that we think can run. We don't want somebody there that, you know, just because they're a Democrat, you know, we want to make sure it's a viable candidate. I'm sorry, Danny, and then Kathy.
Thanks, Tiffany. I think that's a great idea. It sounds like a really cool meeting, and I'd be interested in going. And I agree that in person would be helpful for, like, you know, power mapping and kind of like visually seeing it. And I was just wondering maybe if part of that conversation could be what happens after we get these folks elected. So maybe like some sort of accountability sort of you know, conversation, or just because I know there's been comments, you know, like about some Democrats and the maybe policies or people that they've supported and how it doesn't align with the party. So yeah, just wondering if we could add that part to the conversation as well.
Absolutely. Kathy, sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you.
Yeah, I just wondered, when are the districts going to be finalized? Because I think this is a great idea, but I also think we need to be looking at, you know, who we're going to be, what districts are going to be what.
For Solano County, December 7th. And
Okay.
if we can't decide on the maps, they have another special meeting. I believe they could do finalization will be December 17th, if I'm not mistaken.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Dawn, did you have anything else you wanted to say? Your hand is still up.
No, I thought I had dropped it.
Okay. Any other discussion? I'm taking down names, and I'll look into the Fairfield Sassoon Public Library for the January date. And if you guys want to do it sooner, I can get some information. Maybe just early. I know we said we're going to meet in December, but if you guys are interested, I know it's like no. We could possibly do that meeting via Zoom and then have a meeting in person. I'm very flexible. Steve and then Bridget.
There's restaurants with heat lamps, you know, this might be better over food and drinks, you know, outside somewhere.
You know, Steve, that's why I keep you around sometimes. You like a good meal. I forgot I have to feed you. Okay. Whatever makes you productive, you know, if we have to do it like that, I'm completely open.
Yeah,
Bridget?
sitting in the library.
Yes. Yeah, I just concur 100% with what Dawn and you and everyone else has said, and count me in. I'll be there.
Okay. Bridget, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Steve, you find the restaurant and let me know. How about that?
I'll look.
Thank you, sir. All right. Any other questions? Anybody else interested? So I have Danny,
Tiffany,
Michelle, Bridget.
Tiffany, do you want me to release a poll for people to sign up? That way you'll have it.
Yes, Tom. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. And I think this is a meeting that we're encouraging everyone to participate in. That's what we discussed, Tiffany, when she brought this up. So we would like to have as many as possible. So be looking for more information. And if you don't sign up, thank you for making the poll. But be looking, and if you think about it, sign up anytime before the meeting happens. We'd like everyone.
Thank you so
Okay,
much, you guys.
this is for the 20th or just January 2022?
Let's just put January 20th because I just want to keep that date because it's in my calendar. And
At
then if they
7
want to
p.m.?
meet,
7
yes,
p.m.?
7 p.m. Mm-hmm. And then once I check into the once Steve Quinlan checks into the restaurant.
It would be fun to bring out the costumes, but I don't know if we have enough people to make it worthwhile.
I think we should try. What day is it?
December 4th. It's the Mad Hatter Parade.
I think we should do it. Let's roll the dice.
How many?
Hello?
Yeah, if we don't have.
Somebody mute Mike, Matt, thank you. Sorry, y'all, I was confused. This is not a costume party. Ours is not a costume party this year.
Can it be?
Tom, Pat, did you have a question? Sorry.
Okay, that's better. I was also wondering if we could include, maybe thinking of some measures to change the recall system in California. Something that maybe we could send a resolution, or I don't know, just to, because the recalls are just done so flippantly, that the whole process should be really changed from, the governor down. So I'm hoping that could be part of this committee too. I don't know.
Look, I'm open to a lot, but I really just want to focus on what are we going to do here in Solano County and really building out that strategy. Wow. Okay. So Steve, Don, Kevin, Michelle, Carrie, in that order.
Oh, my hand wasn't lowered.
Okay. Don.
Yeah, I was going to point out that the discussion on the recall process is separate than elections, and also as a practical matter, waiting till discuss until the end of January is not really viable, because to change the redistricting process is going to depend on our state legislators actually taking action, and they'll be needing to put bills forward to the Legislative Council mid-January for consideration next year. So having a meeting on the 20th to discuss whether or not we're putting forward a resolution sometime after that is not an option. So I would say if you care about the recall process, you should act now.
So I think the state party is working on that right now, and they said it has to be, we would have to vote on it. So it would have to be a ballot measure. So I'd encourage everyone to go to the e-board meeting that's in the middle of November, and maybe get up to date on what's happening.
Okay. Kevin?
Yeah, there are several assembly representatives and state senators who have some ideas on changing the recall system. One for the governor's recall to require that the lieutenant governor become governor. But like Margie said, all of the things will have to go through the legislative process and then be brought for a vote. Although the recall has like a 75% approval rating within California, Californians don't want to get rid of it. They just want it changed.
Okay. Well, Tiffany, keep us up to date on the strategy meeting, and we'll move on to the rest of our agenda. Oh, did I interrupt someone who had their hand up? Excuse me.
I had mine up, Margie.
Okay.
Yeah, Michelle, yeah.
Yeah, just a quick comment. So as we know, Solano County has a really high incidence of COVID compared to other counties. And while I love the idea of an in-person thing, going to a restaurant, they don't check for vaccinations. So there's a chance of being exposed or catching COVID from eating at a restaurant, especially in Fairfield, because, Benicia and Vallejo are a bit stricter, but so I personally can't go because I'm high risk, but I do like the idea. So I think it should be by Zoom still because of COVID.
Thank you. So I've got the You said 22 signed up, so we'll be in contact with everybody. Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Tiffany. Speaking of local elections, there is an election for city clerk in Dixon. And Ian Arnold had some information on it, but I see that he isn't here. And I was hoping maybe Jerry Castanon could talk about it. Is there anyone from Dixon who can fill us in on the city clerk election? So that election is the 2nd of November. And so we don't really know that much about the candidate, except that she is a Democrat and the person running against her is, right winger. So we'll see if we can get some more information. I'll ask Ian to send more to everyone if anyone's interested. Okay, well, moving on, there's resolutions by Susan George.
Thank you. I want to just set a little bit of context, and I'll be really brief. This is in the paper BBC, NPR, The Guardian from 2 days ago. The buildup of warming gases in the atmosphere rose to record levels in 2020 despite the pandemic, according to the World Meteorological Organization. At the current rate of increase in greenhouse gas concentrations, we will see a temperature increase by the end of this century far in excess of the Paris Agreement targets. That's from the Secretary General of the World Meteorological Association. He says, we are way off track. This is more than just a chemical formula and figures on a graph. It has major negative repercussions for our daily lives and well-being, for the state of our planet, and for the future of our children and grandchildren. The authors say the last time the Earth experienced a comparable concentration of CO2 was 3 to 5 million years ago, when temperatures were 2 to 3 C warmer and sea level was 10 to 20 meters higher than it is today. So I know it's so hard to hear that information. Believe me, whenever I hear it, I just want to glaze over. But we've seen so many climate events and we know what the threat is. And we've heard from Igor already about making solar access much more accessible, and especially to lower income people, to disadvantaged communities. And so that is one of the resolutions, and that resolution was already approved by the CDP. So I would urge a yes vote on that resolution. With regard to the other one, this was for the legislative committee. Igor came and spoke at our legislative committee on the 14th. And he presented the resolution about the CDP not taking fossil fuel and law enforcement contributions. We've passed resolutions about, we know what's happening with regard to our law enforcement. In Solano County, we can look at what's happening in our sheriff's department with our district attorney, and we also all are very well aware of what's happening in Vallejo. So Solano County in particular, it affects us disproportionately, and young Black and brown men in particular. So I want everyone to know the CDP has already formed committees back in March of 2020 to unanimously recommend that we stop taking fossil fuel contributions and law enforcement organization contributions. That was already done, and actually the CDP has not been taking these contributions. Rusty Hicks has told us that, Chairman Hicks has told us that. They have not. There's a little bit of discrepancy, but he's very firm. They have not taken them. So I would like to propose that this resolution, even though at the special meeting, the result was to form another committee, that doesn't have to change our vote, that we still recommend that they immediately abstain from taking these contributions. So I would again like to urge the committee to support both of these resolutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
I don't see any hands, Madam Chair.
My hand's up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
Would it be possible to separate the resolution about taking contributions from energy and police officer law enforcement organizations? They're not closely aligned. And it's hypocritical of the California Democratic Party to say we're not going to take contributions from fossil fuel energy corporations, when at the last convention, it was sponsored by Juul. It was sponsored by a vaping company from Philip Morris.
Pat?
I just wanted to agree with Susan George. I think we should take up both resolutions. The climate change issue is front and center. We're at a turning point where we have to act now. And this is a small measure we can do to encourage solar for everybody. And I do think fossil fuels, we need to disconnect in a big way. And this would send a statement that we agree with the Democratic Party. So I'm encouraging that we sign on to this resolution. And if I need to, I'm seconding it to be discussed widely and moved on.
Kathy?
Yeah, I also would like to support both resolutions. And I just want to relay a little. I recently got back from a vacation and I was in Lone Pine, and we were talking to two other people. And out of the three of us, all of us had been personally touched by the fires. One person's sister-in-law's home had burned down. One of our longtime friends lost his cabin in the Calder fire. And the other person had, in one of the Santa Cruz fires, had to evacuate for 2 weeks. So out of three people, all three of us.
Break it up.
So
beginning. So I would support these resolutions.
So it's been moved and seconded that we accept these resolutions. So we need to do that before actual discussion, although we can.
Madam Chair, my hand was up.
I was
Yes.
gonna say, Madam Chair, there's two more hands that are raised. It was actually Kathy, then Tom.
Kathy just spoke.
Oh, she did, okay. Tom, sorry.
Yeah. So just before we move on, these are two separate resolutions that need to be voted on independently. And they each need to have a motion and a second. Because that's sort of the way we do resolutions. And also I've got polls set up already for our independent votes. But I also support these resolutions.
Bridget?
Hi, just as a point of order, Igor, when he presented those two resolutions in legislative committee that Susan held, he did clarify that the divestment resolution technically did not qualify as a resolution for the California Democratic Party, but that doesn't mean that the Central Committee couldn't support it. So just as a point of information, really.
Joseph?
Yeah, sorry. So as I put in the chat, I would propose that we add big tobacco to the resolution if it's not too late to do so, or at least do that at some point. I think accepting money from big tobacco is incongruous with our mission.
Susan George, you recognized?
Thank you. Yes, I wanted to say that I was making the point that one of these had been passed by the California Democratic Party and that the other, but now they're both before the Santa Clara Democratic, Solano County Democratic Central Committee. They're not intended to go through the CDP. So just as a point of clarification, thank you.
Paula, recognized?
Hi, I just wanted to say that I support both of these also.
I see no more hands, Madam Chair.
You need a move and second on each one for our committee rules.
So I would make a motion that we support the resolution for enhanced access to rooftop solar and net metering resolution presented by Susan George.
I second.
So it's been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion?
Pat, do you have a discussion? Where did your hand go? Oh, her hand was up.
Well, I was actually going to second the motion, but I didn't need to. Tiffany did, so never mind.
I will launch this poll. Kevin, are you playing a song?
It's the music while we vote. It's like was it Bill Fortune or
Okay.
Jeopardy?
We've got everyone has voted, it looks like. Gonna end the poll. So it passed. Okay, now for the next resolution. Okay, I'll make a motion that we support the resolution to ask for the California Democratic Party to no longer accept fossil fuel and law contributions.
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion?
Okay. Shall I launch, Madam Chair?
Okay.
Okay, 31 have voted. Ending the poll. Sharing results. It has passed.
Okay. So moving on. Thomas, do you want to make an announcement about the food bank for the holidays?
Sure, yeah. So our fundraiser is still on the website, and I will post a link in chat so you can go and donate. You'll see that last year we raised over $1,000. So let's try to make it over 2,000 this year. And if you're sending out for the popcorn fundraiser, maybe after our fundraiser is over next week, you can send this one out too, so that we can get some money for the food bank.
Okay, thank
And
you.
just so you're aware, every dollar buys 3 meals for someone.
All right, thank you. Now we have old business, the popcorn fundraiser. We already discussed that. Is there anything further about that,
No, but Jeanette's hand is up.
Jeanette?
So I just wanted to clarify, so you just talked about the food bank. So this is the Solano, Contra Costa Solano Food Bank, is that correct?
That's correct. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. They service all of Solano County as well as Contra Costa. And in Solano County, their headquarters is in Fairfield. But they have a mobile van that goes around to all of Solano County. Kathy's hand is up.
Yeah,
Kathy?
Tom, which website is the fundraiser on? Is it on the Solano Dems or the Central Committee or on?
So it's on our site, but
Yeah.
it's actually a link to go right to the Solano Food Bank.
Okay,
So let me post that in here.
thank you.
There you go. So give, but don't forget to buy popcorn from Santa Claus.
Okay, and that concludes our meeting.
Move for adjournment.
Second.
Bye.
Their poll.
Yeah.
We're getting
Hold
better
on.
at this. An hour and 20 minutes, y'all. So we're gonna be down to 1 hour in 45 minutes.
All right, now because you said that, you've just
I was gonna
jinxed.
say, you know, old folks say, don't look a gifted horse.
That'll happen.
We're dealing with these one-liners. What?
What is a gifted horse?
In the face.
Does that mean that they have special powers or what?
It means that if someone gives you a horse as a gift, then
Yeah,
you
but that's
look
a
in
gift
there.
horse.
Yeah. Oh, this
Not a
is something
gifted
else. I
horse.
guess I missed that.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
In the face. Oh, in the mouth. Okay.
Yeah, that's, if you look at
But
their
it's-
teeth, and their teeth can be bad, right?
No.
So it's don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah. So, but if it's a gifted horse, that means that they speak. That's like Mr. Ed, right?
No, a gifted horse is a unicorn.
A unicorn. That's what I was
right,
thinking.
yeah,
A
yeah.
unicorn.
You guys are not farm
Good night.
people.
Good night.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Happy
All right.
Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Everyone, be
Oh,
safe.
yeah. See you in December.
The adjournment passed in case anyone's interested.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
Bye. Meeting. Bye, Margie. Bye, Jeanette.